Well, hello and welcome back, and thanks for coming back. Today we're going to look at my latest purchase, which for those of you familiar with cars will understand that that is a Renault Megane. It's from 2014. This was one of the reincarnations of Renault when they started to get their mojo back, shall we say. And this one, like I say, has had one owner from new. 2014, it's at 130,000 kilometers, so that's in and around about 70,000 miles. And it's been looked after very well, full service history and all those kind of things, good tires, etc. It's had the odd knock, and there's a little bit of wear and tear showing. So don't click off just yet. I'm going to take you on this little adventure and show you some of the quirks and some of the things that go wrong on a Renault Megane when it gets to around about 10 years old. But overall, from a distance, it looks pretty good. And of course, if you're curious to know what I paid for it, 4,000 euros is what I gave the gentleman. He's now gone off on an adventure and bought another brand new one. So that must tell you that this car has not let him down for the 10 years that he's owned it. But anyway, let's go and see some of its faults. And of course, if you watch till the end of the video, you're going to see it in all of its glory, because we're going to be refurbing one or two little bits, that's for sure. So it's going to need some new number plates because those were a little bit knackered from parking and all those kind of things. We can see that the lights, well, they're not looking that good, a little bit gloomy, and there's a little bit of perishing on the lacquer, so we're going to be sorting that out. The front bumper, as you start to look closely, you can see that the lacquer is fading away, so we're going to be repainting the front bumper. We're going to be refurbishing those headlights, getting a new set of number plates, obviously, and there's a few bits and bobs that are loose in and around here again where it's clipped a curb or two during parking. And you can really start to see the lacquer deterioration on the top of the bumper. And of course, there is definitely a scuff or two. So we're going to refurbish that bumper. We're going to do those lights and reassemble all the bottom section. And that will give it a fresh face, that's for sure. When we come round to this side, again, we can see that the sun has started to take its toll upon that driver's wing. That's where the lacquer has been eaten away. And of course, we're going to repaint that wing as well. As we go round the car, to be honest, it's looking in pretty good condition, pretty straight along the sills, as we can see. The wheels, well, there's a scuff or two on those, but we'll show you them in another moment or so. In the back end, we've got, again, a little parking clip, and the rear reflector has been broken, so we're going to make one of those and refurbish this rear bumper as well, give it a complete repaint. Again, the rear lights, common fault this, where the inner plastic starts to delaminate and it goes to look very, very scruffy indeed. The only real cure for that is new lights, but of course they're going to cost us a couple of bob. So what we're going to do is actually tint that section to take your eye off it, and of course that won't hinder any of the light reflection and it'll look an awful lot better. Again, as we start to look on the rear bumper, we can see that there is quite a lot of paint deterioration. So again, that bumper is going to be completely repainted, and the lower section again we will re-black up. Again, you can see there's another parking scuff on this side, but nothing that we're not going to sort out. And again, there's one or two little dings in the rear wing. As we come down it, it looks as though it's been parked in a car park and one or two doors perhaps or something's clipped up as the gentleman's been driving and put a nasty little ding in there. But of course, we're going to refurb it and make sure that that car is almost as good as it came out the factory, because I think it's a good looking car, by the way. Renault's come in for a lot of criticism, don't they, in different parts of the world, but in general they're a pretty reliable car. If you're curious to know what engine is powering this one, it's a 1.5 TDI, so that's a direct injection diesel engine, and that's a very, very reliable engine indeed. It's in an awful lot of cars made by Renault, and they even farm it out to one or two other manufacturers as well. So that's a testament to the performance, the reliability and the economy of this engine. If you're curious to know about its performance and economy figures, The official statistics claim that this car will average around about 65 miles to the gallon. I've been running around for a couple of days and it's achieved in excess of 55 miles to the gallon. And remember, most of the time I'm driving in and around town. So I do believe if you take it on motorways and have a good mix of driving and keep that foot quite light, there's no doubt about it that you probably will get a good 60 out of this car. So that's a very, very economical car, particularly in today's terms. Performance wise, well, it's not going to set the world on fire, but it'll top out at around about 110 miles an hour. So you're already breaking the speed limits wherever you may be in the world. And of course, 0 to 60 in around about 11.5 seconds. But that doesn't tell the whole story, because it's a very torquey engine, 180 foot-pound of torque. So when you're pulling away from a junction and those kind of things, and you need to get away quick, there's plenty of power to get you. I think 0 to 30 is around about 5 seconds. So that gives you an idea. When you're whizzing around town in a city, great little car and a very practical car without being too big. Let's go and have a look at some of its other faults, shall we say. As I've said, the wheels, yeah, they do need to be refurbished, but on a car of this age, we're not going to bother. They look good enough. We'll give them a good clean. If we look at the discs, they're all nice and shiny. So there's nothing to worry about there. It's definitely been a very well maintained car over its life. And it's got literally a brand new set of tyres all round. And they all match, by the way. So that tells you the gentleman popped on 4 tyres all at the same time. Rear discs, nice and shiny. Again, scuffs on the wheel, but that's what you expect from a 10-year-old car, to be fair. It's been looked after very, very well indeed. When we look at the actual sills along the bottom, that's where it's very easy for people to catch a curb. And as we can see on this side, like on the other side, they are perfect and intact. Do you want to have a quick look inside it? Come on, let's go and have a look. And let's show you some of the other faults that are on this Renault. Now, a common fault for French cars in particular, they like to put on the armrests this cloth, which is quite nice on your elbow when you're driving around. But of course, as time goes on, no matter what climate you're in, we get a little bit sweaty and a bit sticky, and this thing starts to happen. So we're going to take those off, clean them, and then refurb it and put that back on. And that door card, to be honest, is a testament to the man who owned it. 10 years, and there literally is no damage. He hasn't clipped a seat belt or anything like that. As we go inside, I've always found that Renaults have got very, very comfortable seats. So drop in the comments, if you own a Renault, do you find the seats comfortable? Because I think that they have got the art of making that perfect seat. Here's the interior of the car. This is a mid-spec, by the way. I'm going to take you to the other side in a minute and show you another fault on this car. But quite a nice and concise and clear dashboard, very logical radio system, and of course air conditioning. This is an automatic 6-speed. So there's a gear there pretty much for everything you want. And this one has an electronic handbrake. That's that little switch over there, which engages when you come to a stop and even helps you on the hill start, shall we say. Now, I've always liked the steering wheel in this generation of Renault, and I think that it is a very nice steering wheel indeed. Not too big, but not too small. All the practical controls that you may want for your speed limiters, and on this side you can control your stereo and all those kind of things. And as in Renault tradition, you've got the actual controls without taking your hands off steering wheel, literally to the back. And it's got this confused, as I call it, combined screen. Some of it is retro and some of it is digital. But the good thing about it being digital, the speed is right in your sight. So you know exactly what speed you're doing. Do you want to have a look in the back? What a practical car, by the way. Quite roomy. And a very practical colour of black with a little bit of grey inserts to lighten it up that a little bit. But there's no doubt that this could be that perfect car for somebody that wants perhaps a second car, a reliable car, an economical car, and in general a very, very sensible car indeed. Certainly plenty of room in the back for at least 2 people or even 3 people on that shorter trip. And pretty clean, by the way, in fairness to it. Let's go and have a look in the boot. Often people like to know how much junk that they can carry around. And you can carry quite a lot in a Renault Megane. Pretty deep, as we can see. Of course, the rear seats fold 60/40, so of course you can get that long item, perhaps if you've been into IKEA. But as we can see, a pretty practical boot, and again, no damage along the plastics, which says that this car has not been working very hard, shall we say. Nice car, by the way. Could be that perfect car for you if you're looking for a sensibly priced, reliable and economical car to whiz round in town, or perhaps even on those slightly longer journeys. Here we come to this side. As we can see, the inside wheels always tend to get that little bit more damage, don't they? Yeah, where people clip that curb once or twice. Again, the discs and the tyres, like I've said, are like new. And again, if we go to the front tyre, we can see that the gentleman who owned the car certainly took safety very, very seriously indeed. And money wasn't really that much of an object. And again, as I've said, the sill on this side, that's the part where you might clip that odd curb. And as we can see, in this case, no, he has not been clipping that curb. Let's go and have a look at one of the other faults on this car, by the way. Here we go. Again, we've got the same problem that was on the other side, where obviously, well, our bodily fluids soak into here, and of course it starts to come loose and it gets dirty. We'll take that off, clean it up and refurb it. And here is possibly its biggest fault. See, this is where perhaps on a windy day the door blew and the person was holding the handle and it's shattered. So we've got to come up with a solution for this. In a simple world, you just go to a scrap yard and of course buy a new handle. But in Cyprus, it's not quite that easy. So we are going to come up with a system of repairing this and then make a cover to go on the top of it, which we believe will make it not only look good, but of course very, very practical indeed as well. There's a quick look inside the interior again. You've got some centre storage and a nice little armrest, again, that's got no wear on it whatsoever. And you have, shall we say, a practical glove compartment. Not the biggest in the world, but there's the full book pack, which is always a good sign. And of course, you can keep your sunglasses or perhaps even a can of Coke in there. Nice soft touch, by the way. Like I was saying, this was when Renault was starting to get its mojo back. Because through the 70s, well, the 60s and the 70s, to be honest, they were a very, very pioneering car manufacturer. And then during the 80s and into the 90s, they did lose their mojo. But I think in the early 2000s, they started to get it back. And of course, if you go and look at their model range today, you'll understand that perhaps they are ahead of the curve. I think it's a good looking car, by the way. So don't forget, I'm going to be featuring this car and taking it and showing you how we refurb it, that's for sure. Do you want to go for a quick test drive just to see how smooth it is? Because I tell you what, it is a very, very smooth car. So let's go on our test track, which of course is the worst road in the world. Stick with us, here we go. Let's get in and let's get it started up. Now, to start it up, you've got this little button. And this is the key card. So that is the key that you get. You can lock it, keep it in your wallet, keep it in your purse. But I often leave it in the car itself. You push that with your foot on the brake. And of course she fires up into life. And like I was saying, this is the LCD display that I was talking about. Nice, big, clear and concise. Kilometers or miles an hour is shown right in front of you. Not a bad car at all. Let's go for that magic little drive on the worst road in the world. And of course, you're then going to see this car go on its journey and get made to almost as good as new. And it could be that perfect car for you. Let's let the car cool down that little bit with the air conditioning, because it's pretty hot today, there's no doubt about it. So let's select drive. And let's take it on the bumpiest road in the world, and you can hear all of its rattles and all of its squeaks. And to be fair, it's not too bad for a car that's 10 years old. And remember, the roads around here are absolutely shullock homes. If you're new to the channel, shullock homes means absolutely rubbish, by by the way. Here we are exiting the compound, and we're going to head up on our test drive road, which, as many people have told me, is possibly the worst road in the world. But of course that is a great way to test out to see if there's any clonks and noises and all those kind of things. So let's head up to the Skip company. And of course, if you do like what you see, smash that like, smash that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you a single penny. And please keep on coming back and join the family of Cars and Me. My name's Mr. Paul, and of course I'd like you to keep on coming back and joining me on my little adventures. We buy cars, we sell cars, we refurbish cars. We've got a body shop, we've got a car mechanics. So if there's something that you would like to watch us do, drop it into the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed the headlight refurbishing of the Renault Clio, and for those of you who are curious to know, that little Clio has gone off to the granddaughter of a gentleman that I know, and she is absolutely over the moon. So this car could be going to its new owner very, very soon indeed. Once we've tampered and made sure everything's right, we'll have a look under the bonnet, get it on a ramp. But there's certainly no clonks, there's no rattles, there's no shakes from the suspension. The tyres, as you're sure, are like new, the discs are like new. We'll do a full service on it, and we'll do all our bits and bobs, and I'm pretty sure that in a week or so somebody will be driving around in this rather nice Renault Megane. And there's that dash again, just so you understand what I'm talking about. I think one of the greatest aids to road safety is to put that mileage digitally right in front of you. And of course, in a lot of modern cars now, they're putting these heads-up display. Drop in the comments, do you agree with me, or do you think I'm completely nuts? But I think the speed that you're traveling at should be made very, very obvious indeed, because none of us want to have an accident, do they? No. So let's head back down to the compound, and again, listen out for all those little rattles and all those little shakes, and to be honest, there's none. All you can hear is the hum of the air conditioning, and of course Mr. Paul talking as well. So like I say, this is going to be the adventure of a Renault Megane. We're going to take it from as we bought it until as we come to sell it, and I'm pretty sure that this car is going to come out very, very nice indeed. And that's not a bad view, is it? No, not bad. Like I say, when you come back, you're going to see this car restored to its former glory. And I do believe it's a very, very good car. Very comfortable car, very economical car, a practical car, not too showy, but a smooth driving car. Thanks for coming back. This is the final look at this nicely refurbished Renault Megane. Let's come and have a look at it, shall we? If you remember, in the earlier part of the video, the lights were all crusty and a little bit of a mess. Now they're looking almost as good as new. And of course, we've done all the front bumper as well. And we've reassembled all the lower sections. If you remember, I think this one was quite loose and this one was certainly loose. Now it's refitting nicely, and all the grille down here. Again, obviously this light has been done. And it's had a very good polish. We've actually painted this wing. If you remember, that was all sun tarnished, shall we say. And then we've completely polished the whole side of this car. Done one or two little bits of touch up on it as well. And of course it is now a very, very nice car indeed. The car is now sold, and the new owner is frantically waiting for it and looking forward to it. If you remember, the rear bumper was looking that little bit, well, what should we say? It had a scuff here, a scuff there, and again, the sun had got to it. Now all that has been repainted, and of course, all the lower black. We've also put two brand new number plates on it, so of course it looks absolutely fabulous, like it came out of a showroom. And of course, it's had a good overall clean and polish, and now it's a very, very nice car indeed. And if you remember these rear lights, and I explained that the actual problem with the fading is on the inside. So you could have disassembled the lights and perhaps cured it, but the problem is as the car gets older, the plastic gets that little bit more brittle. So I wouldn't advise that. The easiest solution is to mask off, and what we've actually done is flicked a light coat of black paint and then covered them in lacquer and polished them, and now they look very, very in vogue, and of course it's cured the problem, shall we say. Let's have a quick look inside. There was one or two little problems. We have reattached this piece of fabric, and of course on the other side, I'll take you around in a minute, we have reattached it. Obviously we've done a full service on the car. This is the little key fob, by the way, on Renault. It's quite nice, like a credit card. You could actually keep it in your wallet, couldn't you? Obviously it'll operate in your pocket, but sometimes the Renault does like you to pop it in if you want to start it up, and then the little button is there. The check control system is all coming on. It's all been fully serviced, and of course we have reset all the computers. Everything says it's okay. Fabulous, fabulous car, and it's a good quality car, you know, for a Renault, because often there's a lot of things on Renaults that do break, but this car has been looked after very, very well indeed. Let me take you around to the other side and show you our handle that we've put on. Not the greatest handle in the world, but the problem when you're living on the island of love, which of course is Cyprus, is a parts problem, especially on these kind of cars. But we have managed to find a suitable handle, and now there's a grab handle, and we've reattached this bit of fabric. And if you look into the car now, as you can see, it's an awful lot cleaner than it was at the start of the video. So that is a before and an after, a refurbishment of quite an old car, 2016, so it's 8 years old, been looked after by its previous owner, and there's no doubt about it, its next owner is going to cherish it, and it's going to be used for her daily commute in and around Paphos, and of course doing her shopping and those kind of things. I'm going to say thanks for watching, and of course if you do like what you see, please hit the like, smash that subscribe, and of course keep on coming back for that little bit more of my complete and utter madness. And of course, if you'd like to keep the channel afloat and perhaps keep me lubricated on these hot days, it's going to go colder soon, why not go and hunt us down on the Buy Me a Coffee platform? Because of course that's where you could gift us a coffee or two, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Hopefully you will continue to come back and watch the latest episodes on the little channel known as Cars and Me. If you want to see more of me, there's another channel in the group called Marika and Me, and if you want to watch Marika go on her little fashion adventures and beauty adventures, why not go and hunt her down on Marika and You. This is Cars and Me. We thank you very, very much for joining us, and we'll look forward to your company again very, very soon indeed.